Hi, everybody. I want to confess these three secrets that I hid on my wedding day. The first was that I was pregnant. The second was that I was walking down the aisle to a man I knew deep down in my heart I should never marry. And the third was that beneath my dream white wedding dress, my back was black and blue, literally black and blue. There wasn't an inch spared. I had a perforated eardrum, I had chipped my elbow, and my back was black and blue. And that was from the severe beating that the man I was about to marry dished out to me just a few days before the wedding. And I was young and I was so ashamed. I was too ashamed to call the wedding off. What would people think of me? I thought, they've already bought the wedding presents. How can I call it off? Isn't that sad? Like, how sad is that? That I think I can't call it off because they've all gone and bought their presents and I was going to put them out somehow. Of course, putting everybody else first and myself last. And you know what then happened? 4.5 months later, he almost murdered me. That I literally thought that the last face I would ever see was the man I loved murdering me. And I did finally leave him, of course, because my life is amazing now. But it did take me 1 year and a lot of courage to leave that abusive relationship. On average, women, it takes 7 times to leave. It's really, really hard. And I actually thought that leaving an abusive relationship was the end of it all. And I was really shocked to find out that, in fact, it was just the beginning. And many of the women who come to me feel the same. I see this all the time. They're fearful. They're ashamed after a lifetime of repeating these toxic relationships over and over again. And they feel like me because they say it to me all the time. How did my life come to this? To that rock bottom that I was at when I finally left that violent relationship. And I thought, how did my life turn out like this? I went to an elite school. I had a happy middle class life. We traveled abroad. I was very privileged. I was lucky. My childhood was a happy one. And I'm not saying this in a snobby sort of way that people from middle class families are less likely to suffer abuse than those who aren't. But what I mean by that, to all intents and purposes, I had a happy life. I wasn't from an abusive home. I thought my life was pretty good. I wasn't aware that there was just all this sort of subtle dysfunction going on that was enough to make me feel completely unworthy and like I was not good enough, and actually ultimately led me into these toxic relationships. And if I didn't feel good enough already, by the time I found the courage to leave that violent man who almost killed me, my self-esteem was shot. It was completely shattered. There was absolutely nothing left. And I thought, how did I get here? And I sobbed for weeks, literally weeks. And then I said to myself, this is not the life I want for me and my son. So I took the hard path. And those of you who've been drawn back over and over and over again into abusive relationship will know what I mean by this. Because the hard path was staying strong and not going back. It was easier in a completely screwed up way for me to run back into his arms, especially when he then started to love bomb me, and have one more, I love you, I didn't mean it, I'm sorry, you're the only woman for me, and have him hold me in his arms again. That would have just made all that pain go away. And I could have so easily done that, even if deep down I knew that abuse was only going to start all over again. At least I could pretend for a little while, right, that I was living in this fantasy happy family. And that was the fantasy I craved so badly. And then When I got out of that marriage, and I was still for the first time, because in a toxic relationship, it is chaos and drama, and it's all them, and there's no room for you to even remotely feel or be allowed to feel yourself. I was still for the first time, and what happened was that it was like a volcano erupted, and everything just poured out of me. Fear, guilt, shame, loneliness. I'm not good enough. Something's wrong with me. Maybe I don't deserve better. I'm sure many of you have been through this. And you can numb yourself. It's so painful. It overwhelms you, like really overwhelmed me, which was why we do run back to their arms over and over again, because it becomes so overwhelming. And that dark tunnel of pain is so great. You'll do anything to take that pain away, to numb it. And I've never felt pain like that in my life. And, I see so many do what I used to do, but this time I was determined not to, is you can numb it for a while by simply drinking a lot of wine, comfort eating, jumping into the next relationship. I used to call that my replacement boyfriend therapy. Jump into the next relationship so you can focus on them and take that pain away, a new love interest. Even though you'll know that one, until you heal, is going to be another toxic relationship and end in tears, just saying. Or you can throw yourself into work 24/7, or even take the edge off the pain with medication or drugs even. But that's not going to help you heal, is it? You know that deep down inside, because all you're doing is you're putting a Band-Aid on. You're trying to get a simple fix, a Band-Aid to just ease the pain, but it's not getting to the root cause. And unless you find the courage to go through that dark tunnel of pain, feel the feelings, face your demons, find the root cause of how and why you ended up in that abusive relationship in the first place, and the one before that, and the one before that, and the one that will come after this one that you've just left, then what you're really doing is you're just slamming that box inside shut, keeping that lid tight, denying it, suppressing it, repressing it. And what's going to happen? It's just those unresolved feelings are just going to fester away at you inside until you're ill. So many of you tell me that this is exactly what you do. And what happens is then you'll spend your life just living in fear of the next relationship. You'll be triggered by everything and everyone around you. And as a result, what will happen is your life will just spiral deeper out of control. That's what I did. I just kept going down and down and down until I hit that rock bottom. But the worst of it, the saddest thing I see when I see women continuing down that path, is that, I know what's happening. They are being defined by the abuse of their past. They're letting that determine the future. Your past does not equal your future unless you bring the past into the future with you. Do you want to be defined by the abuse of your past for the rest of your life? Or do you want to do what I did and said, I want a better life? And I'm not going to be defined by this. I'm not going to stay a victim. I'm going to be defined by this incredible vision I have of my future. That one that I knew deep down. I knew deep down inside that there was a better life for me than this. And that's what I ran towards, and that's what I got. I found very, very healthy, happy love, like beyond the kind of love that I was in my wildest dreams. The type of love that is going to last, and that you can be vulnerable with that person, knowing they're never going to hurt you with that vulnerability. And I went on to create an incredible career and have a life of adventure and just indescribable happiness. And if I could have known how incredible my life would become, I wouldn't have believed it myself, you know. Literally, my pain became my cure. So if you want me to take your hand and guide you through that dark tunnel, which I know on your own is so painful and so terrifying to go through, because you just don't know how long it's going to last and you're not sure there is light at the end of it, then there are three things that you can do. The first is join my Facebook group. That's the name of it. Love you and choose the life you want. I'll put these links in either the description or the comments below, depending on where you're watching this. Some of you are watching this already in my Facebook group, so a special hello to all of you in there. Or you can watch my webinar, my free webinar, How to Recover from Toxic Relationships, Fall Back in Love with Yourself, and Never Settle for Anything Less Than the Absolute Best That You Deserve Again. And trust me, if you do only one thing, do that, because I have had so many people saying that just watching that, they took a book full of notes and it's already given them enormous changes in their mind shift. And then if that webinar resonates with you, then do book a call with me. But I just want you to be, I want to be very, very clear that there is a very strict criteria for this that I have. And please, understand that this is only an opportunity. These free breakthrough calls with me are only an opportunity for women who are seeking high-level support, guidance, and a proven method. You're ready to take action and put the work in. You're comfortable in investing in yourself, or willing to find the way to invest in your healing, because you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you know that life is too short to live another day living in this pain and fear, and you think enough is enough. So, and you want to never settle for less than the best ever again. Why should you? So if that's you, then together we can map your way out of toxic relationships forever. One final note, I would just like to add that I do only, it's Christmas is almost upon us. I do have a very, very, very few slots available because they are in demand. So get in there quickly if that is something that you would like to do. So I'm just looking at some of your comments now. Thank you for them. And let me just go through them. Little Iodine, thank you for sharing. You're sending me a virtual hug. Thank you so much. I'm sending one right back to you. And thank you so much for following my channel as well. Masha says, hey, you helped me a lot. In fact, I think I can show these on the screen. There. Hey, you helped me a lot a year ago when I was going through a really abusive relationship. Thank you so much. Masha, I love that. It's amazing. What's so lovely is to hear from people, because quite often I do get like loads and loads of comments in my inbox, and I do read every single one of them, even if I often don't get the time to respond. I read every single one of them. And what is so beautiful for me is one of my clients I'm working with now, she said to me, she booked one of those calls I'm talking about. And she said to me, I've actually followed you for 3 years, but she said, I wasn't ready 3 years ago. And you kept saying you need to be ready, and it needs, only do call me when you are ready and you meet the right criteria in the webinar. And she said, after 3 years, we got on a call, and she said, I'm ready now. And we're working together, and absolutely now changing her life. So thank you, Masha. It's so lovely to know you've been following me for that long. And Ma'am Loka says it's because of my parents, my narc mother. Have you seen my video, which is like the most popular video I have? I'll put the link in the comments below, Ma'am Loka. I think there's over 300,000 views of it now. It's about not feeling good enough and daughters of narcissistic mothers. And it's a really good video to watch, because I also recommend an awesome book that you should read. So sorry to hear that, that you despise your mother and ended up with a narc husband. You can heal from that. You know, my mother, there wasn't abuse, but she was quite controlling, and she did have some narcissistic tendencies, and it does impact you. And this generational trauma, I'm not blaming parents, but there is generational trauma that passes down from one to the other. And you can heal this. Trust me, I did. I broke the cycle, and my sons are the most emotionally intelligent, healthy, amazing men that you could meet, honestly. And you say, I've got very cool earrings. Thank you. I am a little bit obsessed with my earrings. These ones are from Ho Chi Minh in Vietnam. Thank you for noticing that, because I am very, very, very in love with my earrings. And I'm excited because it's my birthday next week, and I'm getting about 3 new pairs. So I can show you my new pairs shortly. You say little iodine. How did you make that better life? Can you say a couple of things that you did for yourself? How did you find what made you keep hanging on? The very, very, very most important steps are this. Obviously, in this short live video, for me to be able to explain the whole process that you know, I teach my clients and give them unbelievable results in 8 weeks. We don't have enough time. But I'll tell you, the first step is to understand that you need to take your focus off them. It's not about the person that you've had a toxic relationship with, because if it's not them, it's going to be somebody else. It's about you. And this isn't to blame you. It's to say that you cannot control, you cannot change anybody else. So trying to do more, prove more, love more, fix that relationship more when it's broken is never going to get you towards happiness. But the exciting part about it is that you can change you. And that was really liberating for me. I thought, I can do that. You know, trying to save a relationship that's broken and damaged and irretrievable was exhausting. I was killing myself trying. And trying to make an emotionally unavailable man love me, you know, there's no point trying. Trying to change a narcissist, good luck with that. So I realized, wow, that's less exhausting. All I have to do is focus on me. I can do that. That's within my control. That is the most important thing. The second thing I realized was I couldn't do it alone. I needed support. It is so hard to break that cycle of toxic relationships because it's an addiction. You do get addicted to that love bombing and that cycle. They suck you back in, and then you feel great about yourself, and then they discard you and abuse you and whatever, and then your self-esteem goes low again, and then you need them to give you your self-esteem back, and you get in that horrendous cycle. So once I realized that, you know, because we walk around all the time pretending that we're strong, and we usually, the women who are in these toxic relationships are very strong, successful women who to the outside world everyone thinks is amazing and great and strong. But I had to admit that actually deep down inside me, I wasn't. I was a frightened little child, and I had to start focusing on me. Stop trying to save the world, but I needed to save me, and I needed to stop denying that I needed help and support and a mentor. So that's the easiest way I can answer that question in the short time we have. I hope that's helped. Jenny says, my father was emotionally abusive, so I thought it was normal to be abused. Absolutely. You know, when we grow up, and it doesn't even have to be abusive homes. It can just be dysfunctional ones. Whatever it is, you grow up and that's your normal. But you know what? That normal becomes your truth. So if your needs were not met as a child, you were never, you know, hugged or told you were loved or whatever, and you grew up with that as your truth. I'm not good enough. You know, and I'm not good enough leads you to people please, put everyone else first above yourself, leads you to be vulnerable to these people who prey on you, manipulate you, and abuse you. And you're not alone, Jenny. There are so many people who grow up and abuse is normalized, you know. Laurie Lynn Starkey. Hello, Laurie. I do recognize you, and I think you probably have emailed me in the past. Your email messages and Facebook posts have been amazing and very helpful to me. Thank you. Well, thank you, Laurie. You, I am familiar with you, so it's really, really good to see you on here. And what Laurie has done is she went to vivianmcgrath.com and signed up to my newsletter, because I send really regular emails out. So if you want to be on my list to get the direct emails from me and any announcements about what I'm up to and all that, then do exactly what Laurie has done, and you can get those emails direct to your inbox as well. So and Ma'am Lockie, you say, my son is really emotionally intelligent too, so I'm grateful for that. That is what I'm absolutely the most proud of. I broke that generational trauma, and I broke that cycle of abuse. So yeah, you can do it. It is possible. And Dr. DJ Justice says, adult children of alcoholics are abused, traumatized, re-traumatized, and neglected. You know, there is a great support group for adult children of alcoholics, by the way, brilliant, you know, related to AA and Al-Anon. Fantastic support groups out there like that. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. Thank you for your comments. And it's great to see you. And I will see you in my next live video. Bye for now. You'll find those links I talked about either in the description, or I'll put them in the comments below. All right. Speak soon. Bye for now.